What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol AAPL for Apple Inc., of course. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this chart is already marked up. It's a stock I watch very closely intraday, one of my regulars, if you will, and clearly the news from Friday about the loss of the Epic lawsuit sent prices lower. So there's a lot of opportunity arising right now with not only the volatility and lower prices, but just what's going on from an overall trend perspective. So if we just take a look at the daily chart first, what you'll notice is that we're in a pretty bullish pattern, right? If you look at this overall, doing something like this is nothing more than a massive bull pennant, right? So typically what we see is a breakout of this bullish pattern, and what you're looking for is about the range of the pole of the flag, if you will. So what we have right now is simply a back test of the breakout area. Now, don't get me wrong, it certainly happened in hot and heavy circumstances. The catalyst of the lawsuit failure was a big reason for the stock to sell off, but until we really get price acceptance underneath some of this support trend line for the pennant that we have put in, I wouldn't really be overly bearish inside of Apple right now. Now, don't get me wrong. If it does break, that does change the story here. But until that happens, it really needs to prove that it's going to be a full-blown breakdown before I get overly bearish, just because of the strength of this pattern right here from the daily perspective. We also have the 50 SMA, the blue line here, which has not been tested in quite a long time. And usually in the big blue chip names like this, the 50 SMA is going to act as a first touch bounce. So not only do we have prior breakout point as support, but we also have the 50 SMA as support underneath as well, and the support trend line. So a number of things all coinciding in this general area of the chart for support from the daily perspective. So I would be skeptical, right, of really chasing this thing short at this point in time, looking for a massive rollover. It just doesn't seem apparent to me that that would be the obvious trade. Now, again, if these areas do start to break, then start to question, okay, maybe this could turn into something more. But until that happens, you're not speculating on that break potentially happening because that's when you usually get caught in moves that look like this, right? Rocket ship back up to the upside. So those are my overall thoughts from the daily. Let's take a look at the 30-minute and just analyze the activity of Friday's session to see how weak and or strong the close was. Obviously, we're noting that it's weak just looking at the daily perspective. But if we take a Fibonacci, go from the high of the move all the way on down to the lows, essentially way down here, really there was no reprieve in between there. We never even got back up into the 38.2, which is nicely coinciding with our 151.19 area of structure. That is going to be right here, really the breakout, the secondary breakout, if you will, from the pennant pattern we had from the daily perspective. There it was, fake break, came back down, retested, boom, there was your break for higher from the daily. So I do think that that's important. Until we can get back over that level, that's where I would start to look for, potential that this is going to reverse back to the upside. So please keep in mind 151.20 as a potential upside area of confirmation here inside of Apple. Now, as we discussed, if we do go lower, you're looking at the 50 SMA as support underneath. That's at 147.66 right now. And then the support trend line. Let me scrunch up the 30 minutes so we can see where those areas kind of are. And again, they're going to be very close, right? 147.66 is the 50 SMA, and that is right around here. And our support trend line, as you can see, is this white dotted line down below. So I would be on the lookout for any type of hammer candles. So looking in the bottom right-hand corner here, candles that look like this, indecision dojis, basically anything that would make you question, is this pullback coming to an end? Can we flip long over the highs and get back up into some of those upside targets? That would be the first area, just this general zone, probably from that 147.66 down to 146.50, right? As we know, that's been a real magnet for this stock in the past while it was consolidating in that flag range. So that's kind of my zone of support. If it wants to give a reversal there, if it wants to print some of those candles, fine, we're going to take advantage of that. But if it breaks, as we know, what's the potential for downside? Well, line in the sand is here, 144.31, simply because if we scrunch up the chart, you'll notice it was the prior all-time high from in here. Would really love to see that hold, but if it goes, there is quite a ways that Apple could potentially go. We have the gap as a target underneath. Again, you're not trading for this actual gap range down here. It's just going to act as a magnet. So if this breaks, right, you're looking here, 137.77, let's call it 138 the whole dollar, right, just for ease of the video. And then after that, I'd really watch the 200 SMA green line here. That would really have to happen on the entire broad market selling off. Now, don't get me wrong, it also had a pretty red day on Friday, so we'll see how this develops. But as the overall pattern is here in Apple, not going to be overly aggressive to the downside unless this general area of support right here starts to fail. So those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video or you learned anything new, certainly let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.